All right. So I guess we are live. And thank you everybody for joining today. So my name is Jose. I'm the head of engineer at Hopper. Uh, Thank you everybody for joining. Today we just want to do a quick sound check to make sure that everybody is able to hear all right. So you have it right, your live chat. So we're going to be answering some questions over there and just interacting with everybody both via our Telegram channel and or live chat over YouTube, just so you know. We will be witnessing today a little bit of the launch of our testnet, which we are very excited to be part of and having everyone over there. Perfect. Thank you everybody for joining. So I'm just sharing a little bit of on the chat. I see already a few familiar faces over there. Thank you, Martin, for joining. Over there, I send the little Telegram chat as well. You can also join us over there in case you want some active support as well, and we're going to be sharing some news as well and some content as well. So first of all, thank you everybody, and for people that are just joining us or that I haven't heard about us, our name is Hopper. We are privacy blockchain company. We're based in Switzerland, and we have been working very hard over the past few weeks to launch a concept of for testnet, right? So we have a little bit of you see my screen. What we is our testnet release. This is a little bit of a binary that we have put together so you can join our testnet, right? So all Hopper's core is everything is open source. You can go and check everything that we have available as of today and that we have been working over the past few months. You can learn more about the HOPR protocol, the HOPR Chat, and HOPR Network online in our GitHub. You can also learn a little bit more about HOPR in general in our online documentation. That will take you to kind of our source of everything that we've been discussing today in terms of what is HOPR about, what are we building, and what are we working on. Over the course of the live stream, we're going to be joined by Hopper team members, Hopper community members. So do not be shy in case you have any questions. Please direct it on the live chat on the Telegram channel, and either myself or any member of the Hopper team members will be answering them. During the presentation, as I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a demonstration of how to connect to the Hopper testnet, how we're going to be doing a quick launching and some connections over there and be able to play around. Pretty much the idea is that I will be showing how to install HOPR Chat, which is our proof of concept. So if you go over here, right now you can access, just as a quick, I'm going to add a few notes over here. Oh, wrong. We're going to be adding a few notes over here. 1 second. In terms of what are we going to be working on, so you can also follow up on our channel. Perfect. So let me just very quickly screen HOPR testnet launch. Yay. Perfect. So the first things first, we have a quick link in case of you are getting just started. We have our documentation. It's available on docs.hoppernet.org. That is where we're going to be showing a little bit of how to get it started. We have a quick start that pretty much guides you through how to install HOPR Chat, how to get it started with the network, how to get more familiar with the project, and particularly just join the testnet, right? I will go through the quick start with a quick start in roughly the next 4 minutes or so. And before I'll just check if there's any questions, and then afterwards we're gonna go and pretty much start having interacting. Afterwards, roughly in 20 minutes or so, we're gonna be playing a few games over HOPR Chat. So just doing a quick pop quiz that shows, perhaps I'll be asking some questions about HOPR Chat. I'll be asking some questions about our latest blog post where we announced some funding by Binance. We announced the launch of our testnet and pretty much getting everything started for the testnet, right? Um, Perfect. I think there's another people joining. Thank you for joining today. Okay. Before we get started on just getting just installing Hopper Chat, I don't know if you can put on the live chat. Just describe your operating system, what operating system you're going to be using, so then I can just give some more context because I will be using Mac OS. Most of the instructions are going to be done on Mac OS. However, if you have any operating system, you also want me to do particular notes about or what is different, I can make some notes about it on Windows, on Linux, but just to make sure that everybody can follow up, I will focus on Mac OS. I already noticed someone put notes on Windows 10. We have our releases and the testnet works perfectly on Windows 10, so I'll make sure to also make a few notes about it. Last but not least, for people that are more on the technical area or want to have a better understanding about Hopper and HOPRnet as a technical product, we have under overview a more descriptive way of what Hopper Core is, why are we working on top of the Ethereum blockchain, what other works have we have been doing, and also what other implementations we have been doing so far. Perfect. We'll wait a little bit of a few minutes before we get started, and then I will just quickly show up how to install HOPR Chat, and then how also um, connect to the HOPR testnet. Yes, let's see. Let's pick up a few questions from the Telegram channel. We have already so perfect. So we have already a few comments in terms of the what it says on the Bootstrap server. A very important thing to note is please make sure you have the latest version. So we have a comment on the Telegram that it says it cannot connect to the Bootstrap server. I will make a few notes about that. In general, make sure you downloaded the latest version. So the latest version, it's based on HOPRnet core releases. It says 1.1.9. So if you're starting HOPR Chat and it says something about an inferred version, so on Telegram someone is running version 1.1.7, you will not be able to connect because the testnet is not supported in any version that it's not under 1.9. So just make sure. Let me just put that on the notes here. Testnet version is 1.1.9, and here it is. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sebastian. He already made a few comments on the testnet version on the website. All right, so we're just gonna get started right away. For anybody that it's already has any other question, yes, the Hopper is on the blockchain. It uses the Ethereum blockchain indeed. Right now, I will just go and quickly start on the Quickstart, and then, but you do not need right now any Ethereum node or anything to run. Right now, we're just going to showcase how to connect to the testnet network, and the only thing that you need will be shown up in here. Perfect. So quick start. As I mentioned, a very important thing to show, HOPR Chat, HOPR, and in general, HOPR Network are early stage technologies. They are currently available for testing, for experimenting, for private explorers that are here to learn about more privacy, how we're building a more private world. But please, as of today, do not rely on HOPR to protect your privacy or assets just yet. We are not on a mainnet production release. We haven't been audited quite yet. We're still only testing our technology. We're only testing our algorithms. Please bear that in mind. Good. Just as a quick note to get started, if you go to the documentation, you will see a few tabs over there. Depending on your operating system, you might want to select on this one because that will change how the documentation looks like in every operating system, right? So for instance, Mac OS, sometimes I will describe this with a command key, and then it will showcase some of the content that we need to do. Perfect. So for instance, right now for Spotlight search, I need to press common search and that will show up. Awesome. So let's get started. So the first step is that you need to install Node.js. Node.js is just JavaScript runtime built on Google Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. This powers many modern applications. It also allows you users web applications in your computer. Right now, you can directly click on the quick link that will show up over here. If you click in here, it will automatically download the application on your menu on your computer, and that allows you to install Node.js. So the only thing you need to do for macOS users is double click in this little installer. What it will do is quickly show up you a wizard installer that will install Node.js in your computer. So I'm gonna actually drag this over here in case for you to show. This looks very different depending on your computer. So for instance, of course, make sure, I'm just gonna move this over here. Make sure that if you're on a Windows computer, you install the one for Windows. If you're on a Linux computer, make sure that you fetch it using your package manage. Node.js has very extensive documentation on how to download it and install it. So if you go to the website and you need to install it in a different manner, you can just go directly here. We put the links. For most people that are using Mac OS and Windows, they can just download it and immediately connect over here. Perfect. So we have a quick guide here on, for instance, for Windows users, you will see this very familiar setup. You download the application, you double click on it, and you go through the wizard. This will accept terms and contents, and then that will immediately allow you to actually ensure that you have Node.js running. Everything good so far? Let me just do a quick check on the Telegram channel. It seems there are a couple questions over here already. Perfect. I think there's already some people going ahead of the documentation. That is fine. We just want to get you kind of like a general overview of how to go and walk you through, but it's perfectly fine if you go ahead. If you have any questions on a particular step that I'm not there yet, though, please wait until I get over there. But in the meantime, please feel free to join. Awesome. So the next thing that we need to do is make sure that you have installed Node.js. So for instance, on macOS, as I mentioned, I can open the terminal application. So if I do Spotlight search, in this case, I mentioned I press space to just get the Spotlight search and I click here on the terminal, you will see the terminal showing up, right? And then over there, you need to tape, just make sure that you're opening the terminal. Just get sure that I have a new window. Let's open a new window over here. And it will show something like this. In my screen, it looks a little bit different. I have a red terminal over here, but that is just to make sure that you have access to a terminal screen. For Windows users, instead of looking for a terminal, you will look for the PowerShell application. In this case, as you mentioned, as you can see on the little GIF, you go on the search bar, you type PowerShell, and then you are able to open this PowerShell application. So following up for PowerShell users or terminal users, the next thing you need to do is running the node version command. So the node version command, you need to type node, make sure to press space and then dash and B. This will show up the little version I have right now. It will look something like this. In this case, we want to make sure that we are using version 12.18. So I'm going to be using 12.18.1. There you go. So I'm using a different utility right now that it's called NVM. However, if you follow the previous steps properly, it will show up the right version. Oh, it's actually 12.2. There you go. So it should show you version 12.18. So when you do, I'm going to clear my terminal very quickly. If you do no node -v, it will show 12.18.2. That is the version that we'll be using, and that is the version that will be installed in your computer. And just make sure that you have everything installed. Perfect. So I have a few other people joining the chat. Thank you, Kevin, for joining. Hi, everyone else. And we already see a few comments. Perfect. I think everybody should be already on the Node version. Is everything Everything fine. I'm just gonna quick check. Does everything have a node version up and running? Does version 12.18.2 show so in your screen? If that is the case, we can go ahead. Let me just go make sure that there's a quick comment over here. Let's see. Okay, on the chat already here. Okay, perfect. So let's move forward. Okay, so after you have installed Node.js in your computer, make sure that we are going to download HOPR Chat. Please make sure you download the latest version. If you are following our guide and you just click on the link depending on your operating system, you would immediately download that by just clicking in here. The only thing that will show in your screen is this little over here on the bottom left corner. You will see that I'm downloading the HOPR Chat, and that is the only thing you will need to do. For, as I mentioned, for Windows, Linux, you can only click on this machine. We have our releases pages. In these pages, you can see all the releases. But again, as I mentioned previously, for the testnet that we're launching today, we are going to be joining using version 1.1.9. That is the only one that is currently working, and this is currently the version for our testnet. Perfect. So now let's extract HOPR Chat. So HOPR Chat is being distributed right now as a zip file. So you can see here that when I click here, particularly on Mac OS, I will just double click on the zip file. So I'm just gonna click over here. That will automatically show the archive utility that will open this little extraction utility, and it will show up in my screen the contents of the HOPR Chat application. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. There you go. So you can see here, over here, HOPR Chat. You can see here the contents of my folder. I'm gonna leave it here for a little bit of time. Everything is properly working over here. So that should be the end of it for now. Let me see 1 second. See if there's any comments. Just make sure that if you are in here and you see something like star hopper chat .command on macOS, that is working perfectly. If you see on a Windows machine, you will see a different thing. I also generated a quick GIF that will show you how to open the Windows command. And in that case, you need to click the extract all, right? So if you click extract all on Windows, it will show you very quickly. It will give you a very similar extracting bar. And in that case, you will see a folder that has the contents. For Windows, it looks a little bit different, and you will see a little batch file that it shows up there. Perfect. Awesome. So now we're getting started to actually run the HOPR Chat and launching our little testnet with everybody involved. In this case, we only need to click on the HOPR Chat. So this is how the screen will look like in Windows. On Mac OS, it will look something like this. One very thing that it's one for Windows, you might be prompted with a firewall setup. So this is pretty normal. You only need to go ahead and accept the firewall setup. In case you are have any issues with opening the Windows file, make sure to ask the question on our Telegram channel. For macOS, you will find that in this case, when I click over here on the start command, you will be shown with this little thing. Let me just close this. We don't need this anymore. You will be shown this little command that says star HOPR Chat command cannot be opened because it's from an unidentified developer. This is a protection mechanism from macOS. This is completely normal. And the only thing you need to do is, in this case, again, we're going to be opening here. As I mentioned, here are the instructions. You will prompted by gatekeeper. In this case, what you only need to do is open the privacy and security chat to allow HOPR Chat to run. So let's do that. And as I mentioned over here, let's just move this away for a little bit. You need to type security and privacy. You can start by just typing privacy. That will be the easiest way. Let me just click OK here. I'm going to type privacy. And then let's wait for a little bit. And you see that security and privacy tab that opens. I'm going to go over here. And something like here will show. Something like this will show up. In this case, let's go here under general tabs. you will need to click open anyway. You will get a message by macOS that says something like macOS cannot verify the developer. In this case, you're going to click open anyway, and that will show you something like this. And that will actually be connecting to our HOPR network. So let's see, let's get started for a little bit. So there's a few questions out there, whether it can be run on AWS. Yes, the HOPR Chat application can be run on AWS. Ideally, for making sure that that we go through the entire decentralization movement, you run it on your computer, but it is doable that to run it on AWS if needed. Perfect. So we are already here, and that is pretty much how our testnet network looks like. We're all gonna go and show a little bit of some examples. Let me see if there's more questions here. Perfect. So, so some of people are already connected, and then very welcome to the Testnet network, right? So we have a few commands. I'm gonna go really quick. I'm gonna close this and this. So if you see something like this, congratulations. Now you are part of the HOPR Testnet network. You will see some of their addresses going up on here, and I will provide more instructions right now. Perfect. So now you're running HOPR Chat. Here's a quick terminal, how this will look like, and then some of the actions you can do. Let's go for the step 4, and this is quite important. Get your HOPR address, right? So HOPR address is using libp2p. It's on the protocol technology, and we generate a unique address per user for now, right? So whenever you click my address, you will see, let me just make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it here. You see this little address over here. This is your unique address that allows you to be that allows you to connect to other people on the network. Did you share this address? I'm gonna just quickly copy it on the live chat. Let me see. So this is the address that is currently on the live stream. This address allows other people in the network to connect, and allows me to pretty much have an identity within the network, right? So the network, so anybody that has that knows my address can send me a message, can send me an actual application, and it pretty much gives you an identity over the entire network, right? This address is anonymous, is not being detected or tracked by any way and form, but it allows me to receive messages from other people, right? So let's see. All right, so this is an example of how a message in the HOPR test network looks like. So somebody sent me a message. In this case, I received the message. I do not know the recipient, sorry, the sender of this message, but they only needed to send to know this address to send me a message, right? So anybody that is connected to the testnet can find me by this address and send me a message. And I think there was a question on the Telegram. So how many nodes are really connected right now in the network, right? We have this little command that is called crawl, and crawl gives you an idea of how many nodes are currently connected. Right now, because we are using a decentralized network, there is not a one fixed state of the entire network, but instead a general view or an approximation of how many nodes are connected right now. So if you execute crawl in your node, as you see, there's more people connecting, there's more people, there's more nodes noding. You can actually see that the testnet is actually being used by multiple people. And again, you have your unique network, and that allows you to be connected with other people, and you can connect other people via the testnet. So we already have our testnet. So now let's send a message to another person. We have another comment that says unable to connect any Bootstrap server. So make sure that you download the latest release, right? So I'm gonna just paste that over the line chat. Make sure you downloaded the latest release. I'm gonna paste that one, and then you can click that one. Previous version, just so you know, previous version. Okay, so somebody already sent me a message, says hello orange, right? So as I mentioned, because it's a private testnet, I have no idea who sent this message. If you want to send me any message over here, the live stream, you will see it or here. please make sure that do not send any Bitcoin scams. We already had some of those already on the internet, so I think we're gonna keep those. There you go. Somebody has sent me another message, anonymous test message. And that is pretty much the entire dynamic of HOPR. It's layer 0 decentralized network that it focuses on decentralization, on privacy. You do not, in a lot of these decentralized projects, you need to have a public IP, but most of you can connect and talk to each other from your home internet, from your network. Thank you for the kind words. But the whole idea is that now we are participating in this peer-to-peer network, and everything is just pretty much decentralized. There's no way that anybody can control or shut down the network. If anything, we have a bootstrap server, which is what some of you have already seen that issue, which is kind of like what we call this hosting a party. So imagine the testnet is a party where all of you are participating, and there is a host. This is called the bootstrap node, and that host kind of gives you an introduction to meet other people. So when you do crawl, you're pretty much crawling the network and asking other people, hey, who do you know here? Who do you know here, right? So let's go. Oh, let me just quickly, I think the stream stopped for a little bit of time. Sorry, my screensaver appeared for a little bit of time. All right, so now just to finalize the example, and then we can jump to the actual bounty part, which I know some people are excited about. Let's try to send another send message to the HOPR nodes, right? So in this case, let's see. To send a message to the network, you need to use the send command. So the send command allows you to actually find another person. There is a quick tip. If you press tab, you will see all the nodes that are connected to the network. In this case, I think, well, there are definitely more, over 20 nodes connected on the testnet. And you can send any of these commands. So in this case, I'm going to grab just randomly, let's say this person, right? And now I press enter at the end of the address. Then I'm going to type this message. I'm going to say, hi from the live stream, testnet launch. Perfect. So that person, I just send a message to that person, and that person, let's see if let's see. Of course, that person received the message, but they do not know the address. They do not know who sent them that message. So just to make things a little bit easier, I'm gonna grab my address, and instead of, I'm gonna de-anonymize myself very briefly. So I'm gonna copy the address here. I'm gonna do send again. I'm gonna press tab. Let's look this person. Oh, I actually, because I sent that person already, I'm gonna press up, and I can already send the same person. So in this case, I'm gonna say, hi, the previous message was sent by, and I'm gonna copy my address. So then that person knows my address, and then they can actually now send a message to me, right? So that's the whole thing. Right now, this is, as I mentioned, this is just a proof of concept, right? Like this is, it's not meant to be a final version. The security of the network is still being tested, and bear in mind that there will be definitely some hiccups here and there. So let's see. So all right, so I got a little message back as well, and that allowed me to just show just a final bit that I had before moving to the bounty parts. So you see here, you probably, if you're already been playing around, if you're sharing messages with other person, or just receiving messages randomly from other people, you're gonna see this little thing that is called latency. So the latency, for people that are on the have played video games, or pretty much been online, it's kind of like this response time that you get. Sometimes this latency will not be very accurate, because it depends on your time zone, it depends on the velocity. But right now we have been seeing a response between, I will say, less than a second and then 5 to 10 seconds. It really depends on your time zone, but just so you bear in mind that. So perfect. That's pretty much it. I think I hope everybody had a great time for now. We're gonna be going to the gaming session part, which I know you're gonna be excited about it. We're gonna be giving away some prizes in digital money, in DAI. So we're gonna be shortly announcing that. Just before we do that, let me see if I'm gonna copy a few questions. So the first question, please, what is the command to list the nodes? Crawl. Um, So the addresses, so that's a very good question. So when you press scroll, you will see these addresses. These addresses are the actual nodes, right? So the address and the nodes are the same thing for the time being. So in case, let's say I want to send a message to this person, I'm going to copy here. I only need to press send. I paste the address that I do, and it says like, hi, this is a message from the live stream. Perfect. Um, Please bear in mind that sometimes some nodes might not be disconnected, might not be connected, or they might be disconnected. Some people start a network and they go off. So in some cases, you will see this little message that says cannot read property stream of undefined. All right, we have a my address message here. So my address shows you your address, right? So in case you want to say, let's say you want to send a message to the live stream, this is my address, and then you can just do send and the my stream. Perfect. Okay, let me see. Let me see if there's any more questions, any on the live chat or in the perfect on the Telegram. I think there are some facing some questions. All right, so we're gonna go and now move to the actual bounty part, to the fun part, and I will explain very quickly the format, right? So in this case, here I'm just adding very quickly, what are the links for you, just to make sure that you have. Please make sure that you download. And what we're gonna be doing now is I'm gonna be running another HOPR chat node. I'm gonna show you its address, and then I'm gonna show you a question. So in this case, so let's say we have a question that it says, okay, what is the name of the presenter, right? So in this case, my name is Jose, and in this case, my address is JTT. So in case somebody wants to answer that question, they will need to write down the answer and alongside their hopper address, right? So let's say I have another node up and running, and in this case, I'm gonna say, let's see. Oh, I'm setting myself. Okay, let's send a message to JJT 3AX. Okay, that will be great. I think one of my notes is a little bit down. Let me just restart this one. Let me just check if there's any other questions on the live chat. Unable to connect with any Bootstrap server again. So for people that are unable to connect, please make sure that the version you're running is the latest one. So that's the first thing. And also, if you go very on the top, one thing that we do is we output the addresses of the version that you guys are running, right? So in this case, everybody should see chat version 1.9-testnet. If you are not able to see that, you're not running the latest version. And the second thing, make sure that when it says Bootstrap servers, there is something over here. I think that is the most important part. And then just so you to make sure that you can get it started on that area. Let me see. Okay. J W D. Okay. Now, let me check if there's any more questions on that, and then otherwise we can just jump very quickly. Just want to show you very quickly how to submit the question. So again, as I mentioned, the question was you need to show your address. You make sure you show your address and alongside with the answer. So for instance, let's say my address is over here, so it's JTT. I'm gonna send here, and the question was the name of the presenter. So I just put Jose and something like that. So then if you see at the bottom, you see this is the answer. This is the package that you should be sending to people. This is the address, and this is the way we're going to be formatting the question. So I'm just going to give a quick heads up to the organizers as well that are also helping us coordinating this event to make sure that everybody has a chance to answer. And yeah, okay, so we're about to post the first question. So Let's see, and here we are. All right, so let's see if you can see the stream. So again, this is the first question. So the first question, I'm gonna read it out loud. You can also see it over here. Let's see. The first question. So the first question for people that can read the stream is says the Wright brothers built what is being claimed as the first successful heavier than air powered aircraft. What is the official name of this plane? So you see here on the top of my screen, there is this little HOPR Chat address. You can see that it start with 16 UI2. Most of the addresses start with A, but it ends with R and Z. So whoever is the first person to send the name of the first successful heavy than air powered aircraft to this address alongside their HOPR node, they will win 15 DAI. The HOPR team will reach them directly to send them the reward. You will exchange some messages with them. But the pretty much first question. So here are the instructions. As I mentioned, for people that are just joining the stream, make sure that go to the or Quickstart, download HOPR Chat, go and look for the instructions. Here's a quick example. So in your HOPR Chat node, you need to type send space the address. So in this case, sorry, comma the address. So in this case, let's say there's a question, which country is HOPR located in? I would say Switzerland. So you need to type Switzerland, comma, your address, right? So we are gonna double check and make sure that you have your address, and we're gonna leave a few minutes for you to connect. All right, so again, you need to send the message to this address. So I'm gonna put it again over here. Let's see, and it's a first come, first serve. So let me see. So we already see a message. Unfortunately, it's not the answer, and it doesn't have the HOPR address. So make sure that instead of sending just any message, if you want to be the recipient of 15 DAI sent directly to you, please make sure to send a message to this node. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Sebastian. So Sebastian put on the live chat, both on I think you put it on the YouTube live chat, but we also, let's see if we can have it on the, there you go. Okay, I can put it, oh, there you go. So thank you, Sebastian. He already put also in the Telegram chat. So you need to send a message to that chat. Again, the format is very simple. The name of the answer, separate comma with your HOPR address. And we want to make sure that everybody uses the HOPR address to make sure that we are communicating with the team, and then we can make sure that you're running your node, because to give you the reward, we're gonna send you a message. My recommendation for knowing the answer is that we we did a little bit of a blog post where we share a little bit of the team, was a little bit of the Wright brothers, and how our testnet is very, we want to make a similar representation of the challenges that come when you're building something new, right? So if you have the access your the latest article we publish in our blog post, or if you just go to your Wikipedia website, you can just go and quickly check it out and Google the name of the first successful heavier than air powered aircraft. So someone put Kitty Hawk. Unfortunately, that is not the answer. I think, well, actually, let me check. I think that might be the flyer. No, that's not the flyer neither. But it's a good try. But now, see, you already see, you're getting there. At least you passed the address, but it's not, unfortunately, the flyer. Flyer one. Will that be the case? Let's see. You need to make sure you put your HOPR address. I'll give you a hint. It's 2 words. So I think someone already gave one, but you need to make sure. So it's actually, it might be something over there, but need to make sure that you paste your HOPR address, right? So just as a reminder, your HOPR address is what it goes over here next to what it says HOPR, and you need to put it on a comma separated file. Right, model A. And flyer A, yes. So the right answer is actually flyer 1, actually. So I'm gonna stop this note over here because we have already a winner. So this is the right answer, the flyer 1, my address. Unfortunately, I think right model A is not the first one that was considered a heavier than air power aircraft. So for the organizers, I'm just gonna put the address of the HOPR nodes for them to reach very quickly, and then this will be this will be the first one that wins a 15 die. Perfect. So I think everybody got a little bit of the hang of it. So we're gonna be increasing a little bit of the complexity for people that didn't win the first one. Kitty Hawk is the place. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, look at that. So people that didn't manage to win this one, I'm sure you already got a hang of it. So I think the next time is going to be a little bit more race of competition because you're already playing around with a HOPR network. So you're already sending and managed to send a few messages. As a quick limmer, we have now 28 nodes. That's a fun thing. So in 2 minutes, I will move to the next question just for the organizers as well to make sure they publish the next question in 2 minutes in 4:45 Central European time. Checking my note while on the go. Some people are saying, yeah, for instance, your HOPR address to, there you go. Thank you, Sebastian. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Any other questions you might want to pick in the meantime as well? While we switch to the next part, we're actually doing also on the Twitter channel for people that are only joining now, either by that they landed either by your Twitter channel, that either landed by our Telegram channel, that they just randomly stumbled upon here. We are doing a quick gaming session, so we're going to be showing up. We are giving you some instructions how to download HOPR Chat, which is your proof of concept for the HOPR network. And if you manage to answer the questions if you manage to get an answer for the questions that will be showing up, and you send it correctly alongside your HOPR address, which shows up in your HOPR Chat, you will be able to win the next prize in DAI. So as soon as we get our 4:45, I will move to the next question. Let's see. By now, organizers will be reaching you. The user of the first answer will be reaching you, and they will give you the details on how to get your 15 DAI. As mentioned, it's going to be a first come, first serve, and please make sure you keep your HOPR address running. Everything is private. We are not recording any information, and winners can stay anonymously. We are a private company, so we focus on making sure that everything is private. All right, let's move to the next one. So second question, you can see it here, but for people that are listening, I'm going to read it out loud. So it says, the HOPR network implements an anonymous cryptography packet format. What is the name of the mythical creature that inspired the packet's name? Now we have a different address, so the different address is going to be here. This is a little bit more about learning about HOPR and what are we doing and what are we implementing. If you have been following or reading some of our wiki, you might be familiar with this. It's actually a very interesting, a very important part of our implementation, and it gives you an idea of what are we doing in order to implement HOPR in a secure manner. So again, the question is, and you need to send the answer in the format answer, comma, your HOPR address. And the question again is, the HOPR network implements an anonymous cryptographic packet format. What is the name of the mythical creature that inspired the packet's name? You can send it over here. I'm gonna copy it over on the live chat. I think it was already copied over. Otherwise, let me just double check. Let me see. So I just pasted it on the channel. I think we can quickly paste the second one. Beautiful, thank you. I think it was pasted. Okay. Sebastian, I think is very briefly pasting it on the HOPR chat. It's also available on, or let's see. available on our YouTube channel. And it's also available on all, let me think, on our Twitter chat as well. Let me double check that is the case. Anyway, if you know the answer to that question for 20 die, please send the answer. Sphinx, send in my address. That is correct. Congratulations. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. So congratulations to 16UI2, HAKX, and 16U3. That is the recipient of 20 die. The HOPR team will reach you directly to know how to. So you please keep your node up and running. We're gonna be reaching you on how to send your reward. One thing though, please be warned. As I mentioned, all the communication is anonymous. All the data is private. We do not know who you are, but that means that you also do not know who is sending you messages. So the Hopper team will reach you directly on this address. I will paste it and send it directly to the Hopper team to just corroborate that this was completed over here. Bear in mind though that anybody can reach you, right? So please be careful. We are not going to be asking you any details. We're not going to be asking you to send us any information or data in terms of sending us any money, right? If anything, we're going to be asking you for either a MetaMask address or an Ether address. You're confident you can receive the DAI, and that's it. Just to be aware, because there might be a chance, because we're streaming your address, some person might try to reach it, right? So that is also the benefits and also the cons of a decentralized private network, right? We do not know who is participating. We do not know who is actually send this message, and we're sending message to. That is the entire purpose, and it's a design. Of course, as I mentioned as a disclaimer multiple times, please bear in mind this is still a process to be fined, and we haven't launched our final architecture, algorithm, and instruction, and should not be used for production. So the next question is going to be announced in 1 minute. Just giving you the heads up also for the organizers of the event. Please make sure to post the question on the different social media channels in 1 minute. And in 1 minute, I will show the next and final question, and also it's going to be a little bit harder, and also we'll see. By now I think some people already got the hangs of sending the message, so I think it's more about finding the answer. We're going to leave some 5 minutes, last final minutes, for just QA, getting a little bit of feedback on your side, and just pretty much trying to understand what was your experience as a whole, right? Again, for people just joining, please see the instructions, please see the documentation, download HOPR Chat, send the message to the node that will show in question with the answer. So moving to the last and final question, the red one. I'm going to read it out loud, and it says, what is the name of the technique discovered by Wilbur Wright that inspired him to modify the wings of their gliders? That was also a little bit of a reference to our latest blog post. You need to send the answer. It's 2 words. You need to send the address to this HOPR network, right? So please make sure. I'm going to repeat it again. I'm going to just copy the address and send it on the live chat. 1 second. And again, the question is, what is the name of the technique discovered by Wilbur Wright that inspired him to modify the wings of the gliders? So additional bonus hint for people listening to the live chat. This is actually something that Wilbur Wright got inspired by looking at something in nature. It's a very specific technique that I helping them modify the gliders to actually help them elevate them a little bit further. Um, it's actually very interesting when you learn more about the Wright brothers and the achievements they're trying to do, and how they try to innovate and change the aerospace industry, trying something that nobody else has tried before. So again, I'm just gonna jump really quickly. I'm gonna see on the chat whether there are any comments, questions, people. Perfect, thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay. Warping, that is correct. It's called wing warping. Perfectly. All right, so I'm just gonna close this terminal, ensure we want to exit, and that will allow to this node receive no more addresses, no more messages, right? So I'm gonna copy the address of the final winner. Let me see. Okay. Perfect. So the winner, I also posted to the Telegram organizers that they will reach you. Please make sure your node is available. So I already been taught that some people were already being reached by the organizers. Just make sure that you have your node up and running. If for whatever reason you know something went wrong, but you were the winner, just make sure it's not a problem. We as soon as you restart the application, you can corroborate that you have the address, and we can follow up on that follow up you on that. But please make sure you keep your address up and running, and we can make sure to actually ensure you have the prize. So yes, perfect. So everything went all right. I think we are very happy of concluding for now the launch of our testnet. Now the testnet is yours. You can reach and talk to anybody you want to reach in any way or form that is connected. Please bear in mind, as I mentioned, as a last disclaimer, the technology that we're using for Hopper is still not great for prime use. Please make sure understand that some of our strategies are not fully implemented. Some of our algorithms are still not validated 100%. We're going to continue working over the next weeks to have better and increased releases. But as of today, you can now open a HOPR Chat node and just crawl for other people in the network and send some messages. If you are part of our Telegram channel or any other channel you might want to join us via, you can share your address, and you can also engage in just some little messages. We are going to just two final, we're going to be moving to a Q&A in some final minutes, just some final notes. First of all, this was the first week that we did these gaming sessions. We're going to be doing more on the time to come, so please stay tuned. If you didn't win this time, if sometimes the answer was not correct, or there was any issues, do not worry. We're going to be having more of the sessions. They're going to be a little bit more complicated as time passes by, and you're going to help us testing some of the features we're looking for, right? So we're looking to answer questions such as what happens when we have, let's say, 100 nodes? How can we coordinate data? We might ask perhaps some people to try to sniff traffic, right? So that is going to be more on the technical side, but we will always have tasks and challenges and bounties for people that want to learn and test this new technology that I think it's very exciting, and it's all new for us. As a final note, let's say you did not enjoy the technology, you did not want it, you just want to remove all this from your computer. It's very easy. Please, we are not installing anything in your computer. When you download HOPR Chat, nothing is installed within your computer. If you just delete the zip file and the contents of the file, you can get rid of everything. For people that were participating, please do not delete your folders, because we might need to reach you again via your HOPR node. So make sure that keep those notes again in case we have troubles reaching you. But for other individuals that might not enjoy, they found it funny or didn't like it, you can just delete the folder and that's it. We do not store, track anything on your computer. We're only looking to develop this for the greater good. Perfect. I think that's all for me. And now we'll just jump exclusively on QA for the next 5 minutes. Just please make sure that you know our social media channels. So in this case, I think we are HOPR Net on Twitter. We are on Telegram. We are also, I think, let me check very quickly. I think we are also HOPR Net, I believe. Yeah, we're HOPR Net as well. And then, of course, on this YouTube video, if you have any questions, I'll make sure to ask those, answer those directly. So let me see if there's any questions already on the YouTube channel. I think so. Let's jump quickly on the HOPR channel. There's no questions. I can pick up some of the ones that were very briefly added. Okay. Perfect. And just a final comments on my side regarding, so you can also oh yeah, I got also a lot of questions. So for instance, that there was a person that was sending the answer, but unfortunately you were sending it to the wrong address. It was meant to be sent to this little address over here, RZ, as well. Um, Let me check. I think question on the Telegram. Is it secure? So there was an initial question about the blockchain. So so there's two important things to mention about Hopper and blockchain. So Hopper uses particularly blockchain technologies to communicate some of its payment process that we will be soon implementing. Right now, the current implementation of Hopper is the first, or I will say initial implementation of Hopper is being done on top of the Ethereum network. However, we also have done an implementation on top of Polkadot. However, for the time being, we're going to be focusing on the Ethereum network. That's where we're going to be eventually pushing most of our work. But just so you know, we actually have done some work on top of this order and top of other blockchain. What this means is that Hopper at the end of the day is agnostic. If you can see my screen, you will see that we have a kind of like a very little architecture of Hopper as a whole. So in this case, there is a HOPR Chat. It lives in this Ethereum implementation where you have a small implementation that's able to talk with smart contracts, and HOPR Core is the actual core protocol that we implement, but we can shift this data for any blockchain. For now, the current implementation that we launch our testnet with has what we call zero hops. So the name Hopper comes obviously from the jumps between different nodes that are connected in a network. However, for the time being, just to make things easier, and as I mentioned, as a prototype experiment for people that were brave enough to join us today, was actually something super simple that you could do without having any Ethereum node, without having any smart contract, but this is actually already implemented. Okay. How to back up Hopper address? Great question. So just so you know, when you run Hopper, you will see this folder over here. This database folder has actually the contents of your Hopper node. So in this case, we have everything here. Please bear in mind this data is encrypted. So this data is not very easy to get. So if you want to have a backup of your Hopper address, you just need to copy this database folder and store it away. Another important thing to notice is that HOPR chat nodes have an encryption, have a password. All the HOPR testnet nodes, they have a default password that it's Switzerland. So in the future, if you get asked, if you do a backup of your node and you want to restart it with another version, you'll be able to do it. But just make sure that the password used is called Switzerland. If this is not very clear for you, do not hesitate to ask questions in the Telegram channel afterwards. We'll be more than happy to follow up. Just bear in mind, right now the release of Hopper as a whole is the testnet, so we cannot always guarantee that your Hopper address will be necessarily backwards compatible. Will be something you will have always. Right now, if you delete this folder and you start Hopper again, you will get a new address and you will get a new identity, right? So that is also exciting for us because it's very easy for you to get a new identity. And Sebastian mentioned, please make sure that you have your Hopper addresses up and running, even after the live stream is ending. And just so I think there are no more questions. I think let me see if I can pick any more questions. Source code, yes. So for anyone interested in learning about us or releases, everything about Hopper is open source. You can find or work in GitHub. You can find our releases directly there, or everything is being done open source. Our project management procedure is also open source, so you can follow up our progress on the development based on only just using GitHub. So you can see the progress and comments we do here and there, right? So in case, for instance, there's some minor improvements or something like that, you can see the comments that I myself and the Hopper team is also doing. Perfect. I think that's all for today. As Sebastian mentioned, please keep your Hopper notes up for a little bit longer. So just make sure to have your Hopper notes. Just make sure you can just do crawl. If you have something over there, you will see. And then if you have any issues whatsoever, please reach us via Telegram or Twitter. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.